He kōna I purangi tēnei nā te reo irirangi o Aotearoa.
No mai whakarongo mai ki te aotai whenua. Welcome to Country Life. I'm Sally Round.
Great to have your company. I'm Duncan Smith. Today we visit a small farm near Renwick, where free-range heritage pigs wallow happily in mud to keep cool.
We'll have a roundup of news from the rural sector, and later I'll take you to a small town with a long heritage of tossing the caper, pipe bands and Highland dancing.
But first, Cosmo Kentish Barnes is with trucking contractor Gareth Parks at his base in Linkwater. Gareth has been carting livestock for a number of years, but more recently his truck and trailer unit has become a common sight on the Marlborough Sounds as it's barged to and from farms. He's taken to the sea because stock trucks are still unable to get to properties in the Outer Sounds via the access road. Kenapuru Road was badly damaged during flooding in July 2021 and August 2022, and major repair works are ongoing.
The first month or so, when everyone didn't know how it was all going to work and what we were doing, we got on the barge at Havelock, truck and trailer, and got out to one of the bays, and it's called Fish Bay. We have built a big ramp out there now for all tides for us. But the first couple of trips, I had the farmers' tractors come down to make sure I could get up the beach, and it was a little bay where they used to back in and launch their own boats and whatnot.
How many stock can that truck and trailer carry?
Yeah, anywhere between 680 and 720 fat lambs.
So it's a big
unit.
Big unit.
Yeah. And then around the 46 to 50 head of cattle.
Yes.
2 decks. Yeah, I did 62 trips the first 12 months and was just over 70 trips last 12 months. And I do still go in the night before, and I lose a whole day gathering stuff up. I've got farms I can unload at and store with water and food, and then I reload them all on the next morning, and the barge comes back and picks us up.
Who has the barge big enough to get a truck onto?
Yeah, Johnson's and Havelock are the main lot in there.
So you coordinate with them?
Yeah, and all the farmers, and we try and take all the lambs to Alliance Nelson if we can, the shortest distance, but the cattle have got to go to either Levin or Oamaru for Pakuri. So.
What's the hardest property to get to with a barge and a truck and trailer?
Our famous Miletas out at Waitui. The easiest trip for the truck is up to Fish Bay, and that's 2 to 2.5 hours from Havelock. And then to get to Miletas from when I get on the road, it's a good hour and a half. And I generally do a tyre or two getting out there on the hard rock, and the roads are all right, but it needs a lot of work and metal. And down into the switchbacks, down into Waitui. And
so it's quite a mission.
Very mission. And then a lot of the time for Miletas especially, and a couple of different farms in the Sounds, but if the weather's not right or we get the rainy day, we've got to leave the trailer at the top of the hill, and then we'll ferry them back to the trailer, and that's normally an hour each drive without loading time and unloading.
So when you've filled your truck and trailer up with sheep or cattle, do you normally have to back it onto the barge? Yeah,
we're very careful backing onto a barge a lot of the time, and I'm doing it in the dark as well. And the skippers and I have got a really good relationship. We know exactly what each other are doing, and it's definitely not for the faint-hearted, but I've got a lot of pride and pleased to be down there, really. I do enjoy all the farmers, and I've been around them for a long time, so I've sort of put it upon myself to try and help the best I can, and I enjoy it, and they appreciate it as well, and it's sort of a good community spirit. For the first, I can't remember, 3, maybe 4 months, the mailman and I was probably the only outsiders getting into the Outer Sounds. There were boat access for other people that had to go in, but for any Joe Blogs, some farmers hadn't seen anyone else except for the mailman and me. So.
Gosh, and of course this barge and trucking service must be a big additional cost for farmers.
Oh yeah, there's some's been done everywhere. I haven't seen them lately, but 4 to 5 times more than what it used to. And the farmers have been told the road will be ready for truck and trailer by the end of the summer, but no one knows which summer, so yeah.
When's the next trip out to one of these isolated farms in the sands?
Yeah, we did a trip out last Tuesday, and yeah, our next one's this Wednesday. We'll be out for a load of deer Wednesday morning, stags to go to the works.
Linkwater-based livestock transporter Gareth Parks. And on the Country Life webpage there are photos and a link to a great video of Gareth heading out on a barge with his truck to pick up sheep and cattle from farms in the Marlborough Sounds.
And now it's time for a roundup of the week's rural news. And let's head to Ototahi Christchurch and have a chat to RNZ rural reporter Sally Murphy. Now, Sally, you have some news about the kiwi fruit crop in Tairāwhiti. It's not looking at all good a year after Cyclone Gabrielle. What's happened?
Well, vines which looked healthy in early summer are either completely collapsing, leaves are going yellow, or the fruit is going soft on the vines. The region carries about 10% of the country's crop from 50 orchards, and it's the third tough season in a row for these growers. We had a chat to one orchard owner there, Tim Titchens. He says nearly half of growers have been affected to some extent. The worst have lost everything, and others are removing fruit in the hope they'll have at least something to harvest next month.
Yeah, we were looking to carry around 15,000 trays, and 20% of my orchard needs to be replanted, and another 40% is sort of down to, 6,000 or 7,000 trays that I'm just trying to nurse through. Right up until Christmas, people were asking me how it was looking and how things were going, and I was cautiously optimistic and saying, no, things are looking really good, good numbers, plants are looking healthy, but yeah, I actually came back from my quick summer break and was shocked at what I saw in my orchard, how quickly things had gone south. There's lots of people who are just saying how they're hating going out into the orchard at the moment. It's just a bit depressing going and looking at a whole lot of sick plants and small fruit that's not going to get harvested, and a bit of concern around mental health and that sort of thing for growers at the moment.
Yeah, pretty tough, isn't it? Just staying with growing conditions, Sally, it's getting tender dry in North Canterbury.
Yes, it is, and that was amplified on Monday with a large scrub fire in Waikari. North Canterbury farm consultant Jeff Dunham says he can't recall a summer with so many sporadic outbreaks of significant rural fires. He says farms in the region look brown and dry, but they haven't gone grey yet, and there's more long grass compared to some summers, ready fuel for a spark.
And we're hearing it's a similar story in other regions too.
Yes, it's getting pretty dry in Wairarapa, Southland and Blenheim, where they're actually bringing forward a sale next week so farmers can offload stock earlier.
Now let's look at some financial results. Pamu's profits are down.
They are. This is the state-owned farming company, also known as Landcorp, which has 110 farms around the country. It's reported a half-year net operating profit of $3 million, well down on the $15 million made at the same time last year. Chief Executive Mark Leslie says there are a few reasons behind the drop.
We had a slow start in many parts of the country from a productivity perspective, but we've also seen the benefit of that now with the grass that's been pushed through into the summer, so we'll catch up some of that. But equally, like all farmers are faced across New Zealand, we've seen the downward pressure on lamb prices, milk prices considerably back from their peaks of $9 plus. So, yeah, combination of livestock, combination of prices, and we're still seeing the high pressure from costs and the likes of interest rates and that we all face have still not come back. So a combination of drivers.
And interesting to hear Pamu's got rid of all its quad bikes on farm.
They have. Mark Leslie says due to the number of quad bike related deaths on farms generally, Pamu made the call to remove 440 quad bikes off its farms.
It was predominantly driven by the class of land that we farm on, and all the work that we had done, we couldn't see how people could, I suppose, fail safely on a quad bike. So we had looked at alternatives for our dairy units. A lot of that is two-wheel bikes and the small sort of Jimmy utes, and then on our sort of Mill Hill country land, the side-by-side. So that was an active decision we made to making sure we could keep our people safe.
Now some news about honey this week. Plans are afoot to revive the ailing industry.
Well, in recent years, some bulk export prices have dropped 40% due to the pandemic and an oversupply of honey. This week, Apiculture New Zealand launched a strategy which aims to double exports to $1 billion by 2030. The plan includes creating a new industry body, growing global market share and doing a better job of telling New Zealand's honey story. Apiculture New Zealand Chair Nathan Guy says the industry needs a stronger collective voice and a reinvestment model because at the moment the group is voluntary.
Well, we realised that we had a failed attempt on a levy some years ago, and now's not the time to really promote that. But if we're going to get serious in what we do well, and that's producing honey and taking it to the world, we need to have quality standards, and the MPI has done some good work on that, and we probably need to reach out and do some more. We realise that biosecurity is fundamental, so we'd like to see Varroa over time come into a pest management plan, because if we can't perform well because of biosecurity threats and incursions, that's going to ultimately mean that we can't hit our export double target.
So what do beekeepers think of the plan?
Well, New Zealand beekeeping has given it a short shrift. They represent small to medium-sized beekeepers. Its president, Jane Lorimer, says there was little consultation with the industry on the plan.
It's not fit for the paper that's actually written on. It could impact the beekeepers of New Zealand very severely to the point where it could put beekeepers out of business.
Ms Lorimer says the strategy has no costings, no clear priorities, timelines or ideas on a funding model. She says adding a levy for a Varroa pest management plan doesn't make sense, as it's already widespread and basically in every hive.
They're also suggesting a single body in that for the industry, which we would have a membership fee. So at the moment, all our industry bodies are voluntary, so that would turn to one industry body that we had to belong to. So those fees, and they're also talking about a decarbonisation sort of strategy as well. Those fees there would basically mean there'd be 5 different levies or membership fees in that for beekeepers.
And just to finish, Sally, researchers are trying to get to the bottom of lameness in stags.
They are, and this is because at the end of last year, Deer Industry New Zealand held a couple of meetings with farmers where a number of them reported severe lameness in adult stags. Deer Industry Research Manager Emil Murphy says there were a range of symptoms, including swollen and deformed feet and overgrown toes. He says there are a few common causes to lameness, but these cases were different. So they've teamed up with Massey University and VetLife Scientific to get a better understanding of the issue.
It's work we're doing in 2 stages. We completed just after Christmas a phone survey with a large number of their farmers just to pick up whether they've had increased lameness in the stags or whether they've seen difference in the lameness that they had. And from there, we're doing about 100 on-farm interviews with farms, looking more in depth at the animals, conditions on the farms, risk factors that might influence why they get lame.
Emil Murphy says they're hoping to have the research results done by the middle of the year.
It'll be interesting to see what the causes were. Thanks very much, Sally.
This is Country Life on RNZ National 101 FM.
Staying at the top of the South Island, we're heading to Longacre Farm, where Cosmo's out and about with free-range pig farmers Rick Martin and Nerin Illingworth.
We're up the Onamalutu Valley in Marlborough. Currently, we're out in the pig paddocks, and around us is our little farm, and it's a lovely day.
It is. It's quite hot and dry.
It is very dry.
And on the hills, there's forest all around you?
Yes, we are a small, narrow valley, and we are surrounded by forest trees, and we do look up to the Richmond Ranges, which is a pleasant outlook.
It's a very peaceful valley.
It is, but it does have its moments, but it's, as you said, it's our little slice of paradise, and we enjoy it when we can.
Yes. How long have you been here?
Well, we're never very good with dates, but I think it's around 12 years. We bought the land, took us probably another 3 or 4 to move a house onto it. So we just evolved from there.
And Rick, before you came here, you owned a hotel.
Yeah, the Junction Hotel in Spring Creek. Yep. We had it for about 6 years, the hotel and restaurant. But we owned the land here while we still had the hotel.
And your folks ran the hotel before you?
Yes, they had it for about 16 years before I took over, so it's been in the family for a wee while.
So how did you transition from running a hotel to farming pigs?
Well, we both come from a farming background. When I left school originally, I went dairy farming for a few years, and then Niren's parents had a farm up the top of the Waihopai Valley, so we both did have a farming background. Yeah.
In saying farming, it was always sheep or cattle and just 1 or 2 pigs, not 30 to 60 pigs, which brought its own challenges, a lot of learning curves.
So yeah, we've been selling our pork at the farmers market for about the last 7 years.
And how are things going?
Good. Yeah, we've got a good steady regular market for the pork. We could scale up and sell more if we wanted to, but we're just at a comfortable level doing what we're doing.
Excellent. Well, let's go and have a closer look at these pigs, which are all heritage breeds.
Yep, we only have heritage breeds. We don't have any of the landrace or the large whites, just because they're outside in the weather and the sun and that, and they can get sunburnt and that sort of thing. Yep. These guys are a little bit more hardy.
Now the piglets are coming up to us.
Yes, they are.
Ooh, are you looking for a treat?
Yes.
They're quite tame, aren't they?
Yes. Well, these are the ones that we had to take off the mum, first-time mum, and she wasn't coping. So we ended up with all of them to hand raise.
Mm. And you take them into the house?
Yes, well, there is a firebox that they are allowed to sleep in for the first couple of nights till we get going, and then we have other areas with heat lamps. And it's funny, the TV's going or the dogs bark, and they sleep through it after the first couple of nights. I mean, they just love being warm and fed, and even if there's only one that needs to come off, we'll take 2 because they're so social. So they sort of look after each other.
Yeah, so they're Duroc saddleback crosses, but they're thrown to the Duroc side, those ones. We've separated the boys and the girls. We tend to do that just when we wean them. So when we fatten them, it's a lot less trouble with them.
How many pigs have you got here on the farm?
Well, we run 6 breeding sows, and then we've got a Duroc boar, and then it's just whatever offspring we have. So, it just depends. But we can, as Niren said, we can get up to about 60. We have been bigger than that, but since COVID we've sort of dropped the numbers back a bit. So
it's a lot of mouths to feed.
It is.
I guess, Niren, feeding them must take a bit of time.
Yeah, it's every morning and every night. You carry the buckets. It's physical, can be smelly, but you've got to keep perhaps agile and fit. So in summer it's pleasant, just in winter it's a bit of a challenge, but it's a commitment, to say the least.
Do you give them names?
No.
You try not to?
We name the sows, but we don't name any of the weaners. They're not going to last long enough.
So how long will they stay here?
Depends on how fast they grow, but between 6 and 8 months till we take them to the abattoirs.
And feed-wise, you've got quite a sustainable system going, haven't you?
Yeah, well, we're sort of the ultimate recycling, really. So we collect the spent barley from DNA Brewing, and then we also get the whey from Cranky Goat Cheese, and we get the vegetable scraps from a couple of the greengrocers in town, and we also get bread. So yeah, it's all recycled.
One of them has just decided to lie down in the mud, of course.
Yeah, it's pretty important in this hot weather just to have good wallow holes so they can cool down.
Now, I've just noticed a sow lying down in the shadows.
Yes, it's Clara.
She's got some teeny weeny little piglets around her.
They are about 2 weeks old. She eats plenty, so she just wants to lie around and feed the piglets.
Yes.
But if you touched a piglet, she would not be quiet or calm.
Now I'm just climbing over the electric fence. Oh, these piglets are a lot bigger, aren't they? Oh, I am standing in the way. Hello. Yummy, yummy, yummy. That does actually look quite good. One of them's got quite large, round, black spots
He has.
on him.
He's a very good looking pig, that one. And he's rather cute when he was smaller. But now they're big and grown out nicely. So they will be going to Harris Meats within the next few weeks.
Yes.
When they're in the paddock, they don't look that big, but once they are on the hook, they are a lot bigger.
I'm going to get my microphones in between them here to see if I can get some good sounds. No, you can keep going. It's okay. I just want to get a sound of you punching away. Well, you don't seem to mind, do you? They are big. I mean, how heavy would one of these pigs weigh?
When they come back from Harris's, they will probably be about 85 kilos. So, yep, they'll go down on a Tuesday, get killed that day, and then they'll come back to us in a refrigerated truck the next day.
How do they get down there?
We take them. We've got a custom trailer that we
So
take
you
them
take
down.
them all the way down?
Yeah, just so it's less stressful for them. You know, like we train them to go on the trailer so they're comfortable in the trailer, and just take them down there and drop them off. And they more or less go straight in, so they're not waiting around. So
And then they're back.
they're back the next day.
The next day?
Yep. Ready to be butchered.
And you do that yourself?
Yep, we do that on the farm. We've got our own commercial kitchen and butchery set up. Yep. Vacuum pack all the meat, and then, yeah, we'll sell it at the farmer's market. So we also cook some of the meat and sell it in a bun, that sort of thing. So we do bacon buddies, and we also do a porchetta, which is an Italian style slow roasted pork with garlic, rosemary and thyme in it.
Oh, I bet that's popular.
That's a 3 a.m. start to get that roast on.
Yeah, it's a little bit of work, but we've got a lot of people who come to the market just to buy it every week. You know, we've got some people who've been coming for years every week, and they'll come and buy a porchetta roll because they just love it, and can't blame them because it's nice. So, yeah, it's a big day, but it's good. It's good fun.
What are the most challenging parts of farming heritage pigs on a small scale?
Making them do what you want to do is very challenging with the pigs. So you have to have the setup right. For years they were always getting out. You'd see them heading down the road into town, over at the neighbours. So it was the setup, isn't it, Rick?
Yeah.
It's really important.
You know, they're pretty hard animals to control. If they don't want to do something, they will not do it.
Hence the term pig-headed.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yep.
Food.
So yeah, getting your fencing right and your systems right to managing the animals is pretty important.
Mm. And pigs are really intelligent too, aren't they?
They are intelligent. Yep. They're pretty clever, right? You can teach them to do a lot of things. Mm. Yeah, our original sow that we had, she would sit for us, like we could say sit, and she would sit, come. You know, she was like a dog basically, but. Yeah. We don't have time to train them like that. But
can you pick up on their emotions?
Nerin can, better than I can.
Yeah, what do you sense?
Well, you can always tell if someone's perhaps being bullied or unwell, if they've maybe eaten something that's not right. And I know it sounds funny, but it's just the way they hold their ears. Some days you can definitely go out straight up. And
oops, I'm being licked from behind.
Yeah. If they're stressed, I mean, you just don't want to put too much stress on them. They don't cope with it particularly well. So you just really try and cover all those bases. So there's no one likes stress in their lives. So if you can try and make it stress-free for them, it's a better way to farm them.
Now, Rick, we are heading over the road because you've got some land on the hill here, and this is where your boar lives.
Yeah, the boar and the sows. So generally what we do is we keep the sows and the boar up here in the bush, and then we'll just bring them across to the home paddock when they're due to farrow, so we can keep a close eye on them.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then once they've farrowed and we wean them, they'll come back up here again.
So they've got lots of shade, and up the valley here there are some derelict gold mines.
Yeah, they have used to gold mine up here. I don't think they ever made a fortune out of it, but yeah, there's just up this gully here, there's an underground gold mine which I believe they developed during the Depression. I've been inside it and had a little bit of a wander around.
I bet it's nice and cool in there.
Nice, yeah.
Hello, now we've come to your sows, and you are very muddy, aren't you?
Yeah, these ones are Berkshire Duroc cross. So she's the one that just had that litter across there, which we had to hand raise. She wouldn't raise them for some reason, and that's actually her mother, this one here, Betty and Morag.
And they've got their own paddock and their own little house.
Yep, and they've got, fence is going, and they've got a little wallow hole over there.
Yep.
And then this is Griffin, the boar. We call him Griffin because of his ginger nuts.
Gosh, Griffin's testicles are humongous.
Yep, he's a big boy, all right.
Is that normal?
I don't think he's abnormal.
And a sow called Jules is in with Griffin, and they seem to be getting along quite well together, don't they?
They do get on. He is a gentleman. You know, he doesn't rough them up at all. He's probably one of the best boars I've had for temperament. So he's just serviced Jules.
Does the mating process go on for long periods of time?
It just depends, but normally a day or two. Yeah. But he's a big boy.
How heavy would he be?
I would have thought he'd be 350 kilos, something like that.
Long. He's probably from nose to tail, he's probably 2 metres long. And they're a good meat producing animal.
Yeah. I tend to find that the cross between the saddleback and the Duroc is a really good mix.
How would you describe the taste of